Well, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Tracy, and where's my co-host? Y'all are not used to me doing the intro. It's a little awkward for me even. Shahida will be with us shortly, but in the meantime, we don't want to leave you hanging. So I will just dive right into the fact that we have a guest with us today, as you can see. And so I'm going to give a little intro and then we're going to just dive right into it. So, if you love discovering great food, good vibes, and the people who make Rhode Island feel like home, today's episode is going to be so much fun. So, our guest today has been showing up for the community for years, just starting out in education and nonprofits with City Year, working with nonviolent efforts around the Providence area, and just finding ways to bring people together, for years and years in our community. Even as far back as 2018, he launched Food, Booze, and Friends, which involved cooking alongside locals, hosting kitchen concerts. Come on, tiny desk in the kitchen with live music right in people's kitchens and curating epic local day parties like Shenanigans. So if you've been to Shenanigans, our guest is he's the chicanery. He brought it for you. So fast forward to today, he's still putting local culture on the map, whether he's spotlighting neighborhood food spots, hidden gem beaches that you might not know about, or hosting regular R&B nights that celebrate small businesses across the state. Born in LA, we won't hold it against him, but raised right here in Providence's Silver Lake neighborhood. I am so excited to welcome the one, the only Fatty, aka Brandon Soon.
Oh,
Welcome to Little
thank you.
State Big
What an
Voices.
intro. Thank you.
It's been a long time coming. We
Yeah.
were talking about this ahead of time. Like I've been wanting you on the podcast for the longest time, and it was a matter of like coordinating and schedules. But you're finally here, so now that we have you, you
Yeah.
gotta talk to us about like all the things that you. So I love that you're a food creator and curator for content on social media, but you also are like literally making change in the community. So I guess we should start from the beginning, right? Let's start in 2018. Kind of walk us through how things started and then, take us on the journey.
Yeah. So, thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm really honored to be here. But yeah, I was just living in an apartment by myself and I was making a lot of Snapchat content when it came to food because, being a man by himself, you got to cook yourself dinner. So I was making a lot of food content on Snapchat, and that's kind of what led me into creating content in my kitchen in my apartment and bringing guests on. So, I got all the camera equipment, started my YouTube channel, and I started with some friends. And we were just fooling around, recording us cooking, having like a little cooking competition, drinking a little bit, food, booze, and friends, and just chopping it up while dealing with food. And what's better than food and friends? You know what I'm saying? So that's where the
And
content really started.
booze. And booze.
And booze, yes, that's very important for this community. But I have friends who are so many different kinds of creatives, and I have musician friends. So that's where the kitchen concerts really started. So my good friend Mary Gibson, she's a wonderful singer. She does like a lot of cover music at shows, and she came onto my show and she performed. It's kind of, if you ever seen the Tiny Desk concerts, imagine a Tiny Desk concert inside of a small kitchen in a one bedroom apartment. And that's what Kitchen Concerts was. So, I'm cooking with some other friends. She's in the background. We got a pianist in the background who's playing the keys and she's singing. It was so beautiful. So that's what really like inspired me to like bring a live audience and other people into our spaces. So so that's what kind of led into like event curation, having seen like 30 people in my living room packed, watching us cook and watching people perform. That's what really inspired me to create like this community event. I was like, oh, people like the drinks, people are enjoying the food. We got live music. So when I started playing my events, we had 3 DJs for our first event. We got free food on the grill for the community. We got a cocktail bar, and people just love the music. They love the food, and they love being together. And that's what food, booze, and friends is really about. It's like community, meeting new people, um, and enjoying company over food and drinks. So that's where it really started. And then when we got into the pandemic, we kind of had to put everything on pause. We had to social distance and be careful. But that's when a lot of food trucks were kind of doing their thing. Like you couldn't really sit in that restaurant. So food trucks were outside and it was okay to order and eat at food trucks. So I started doing reviews at food trucks because we couldn't really make food content together inside of the kitchen like that. So jumping around Rhode Island, visiting different trucks, trying their foods and giving reviews on that. So that's what kind of led into me doing like full blown reviews for small local businesses. Yeah. That's just like
That's
everything.
pretty cool.
Thank you.
Like, so I'm thinking 2018. I didn't come here until 2019. I'm originally from Mass, but it's good that you got to start that foundation, right? Because you were able to pivot during the pandemic and actually, like, you were able to grow and you were actually able to feed back into the community, no pun intended, because what it sounds to me is almost like what D Nice did, what DJ D Nice did, is he brought content to social media at a time when people were struggling. Like we were struggling for being able to socialize, struggling just with like uncertainty and like just a blanket of sadness that covered the entire world. Like there was no escaping it. It affected everyone. So the fact that you found a way to, turn things around during the pandemic is great. And obviously it grew your brand during that time. So, but that's just genius. Like that's a cool concept to even have started that far back in
Thank you.
2018.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like there wasn't much to do during the pandemic either. So, everybody was at home on their phones. So that's when a lot of content started booming on social media. So I really took advantage of that time and create a lot of content. I started a channel called Snack Gods. So that's me and my partner, Wendell, him and I, we were visiting the food trucks together. Um and reviewing the trucks. But we were also sitting in a little studio, him and I next to each other with masks on, testing out snacks, you know what I'm saying? So we just had to we just had to adapt during pandemic. But yeah, it allowed me to like think more creatively about concepts and stuff like that. So I'm glad I'm glad we were able to do snack gods and go visit food trucks because that's what launched me going to restaurants and building relationships with small local businesses to promote them.
And that's so important because a lot of businesses suffered during the pandemic. And it's just
Mhm.
hard to be a small business anyway, right? Because they say a restaurant probably, if you turn a profit the first year, you're lucky, right? So a lot of small businesses don't last the first year, and 5 years is like an even bigger benchmark. So being able to spread that word for a small business who's not connected to a chain. Like, of course, you have the big brands that have billboards and they have, advertisements everywhere. Small businesses, which usually have the best food,
Mhm.
sometimes don't get that extra push they need. They rely on word of mouth. So if you
Exactly.
can have, you have food curator and
Mhm.
a food creator, content creator going out there and sharing that information, that's so impactful for small businesses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not a lot of businesses have the resources to create flyers or create content, or they don't have enough staff to dedicate to content creation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mhm.
that's the beautiful thing about Providence and Rhode Island. Like we have so many content creators who will go to restaurants for free and enjoy the food and be able to share that experience with the rest of the state. So yeah, um,
Yeah.
I'm in a nice pool. I'm in a pool of great content creators in Rhode Island who are putting small spots on the map.
So some of the stuff I've enjoyed in particular off your page is like when you do the Trader Joe stuff because I'm a big TJ girl. So I
Mhm.
love like when you do like the soup dumplings or you do some of like the Trader Joe content. And then the other day you did a review from the perspective of the crab you were eating
Yeah,
when you were at you were at
you know, the buffet.
the buffet. And
Yeah.
that's my spot too. I love
Mhm.
that buffet in North Providence.
Yeah. Yeah, so I try to, it's really important in the first few seconds of the video to capture people's attention. So, like, sometimes you gotta change up the perspective, like, and usually, sometimes the first perspective is like, oh, you see a nice plate of full food, but have you ever seen the food from the creatures or the dinner's perspective? So it captures them for a second. It really interests them to see different angles and stuff like that. So yeah,
That was pretty cool.
definitely saw the angle from my seafood the other day.
So talk to me about these R&B events that you do because I think when you go on the page it's easy to see that obviously there are restaurants, there are
Hmm.
some supermarkets and definitely some beaches which we can talk about too. But talk to me about like the events that you have that people can actually participate in if they want to come to Providence and have a good time with you.
Yeah, yeah. So I keep a few different Instagram pages and I keep my event page a little separate. but our event page is Food, Booze, Friends, which is a little different from the food stuff. It's just more of like promotion of the events that I'm doing. But I definitely do R&B pop-up events where we bring in DJs, we do craft cocktails, and it's like a grown and sexy vibe for the community. You know, growing up in Providence, it's like I grew up around a lot of black and brown people, and like that's the culture that I grew up in, and that's the kind of music that I listen to. So like R&B, that's my number one genre. So if I'm going to an event, I want chill vibes, some beautiful people. So I got some good DJ friends who play some good R&B music. So I get those people. Sometimes we do like vinyl nights, and we'll put old school vinyls on the table, and the DJ he'll have an old school vinyl player that he'll DJ off of instead of a laptop.
Mm.
People could pick their own songs that they want to play at our nights and bring the vinyl to the DJ, and he'll put on that song for you. So it's like it's interactive in that way as well. And our R&B events, they're just like very friendly, welcoming. You can go to the DJ and make a request and talk to them, but it's a lot of socializing and meeting new people. That's the beautiful thing about Food Booze and Friends. Like you're gonna meet a new friend at whatever event you come to. You know, the ambience is nice. We got chairs and sofas for you to sit on. If you want to stand up on the dance floor, you could do that too. If you want to chill at the bar and have a drink, you could do that too. There's a vibe for everybody at our R&B events.
Well, that's really grown and sexy because the sexy part is the music, obviously the
Mhm.
R&B, because R&B is just a sexy genre, period. Whether you're talking about old school throwbacks to Jodeci or you're talking about like the new Summer Walker stuff or some SZA, but the grown part is having a place to sit when you arrive.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell you something, baby. When I get there, I want to sit down.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And something you can just sit and chat with your friends with some nice music in the background. You know, it's not too loud. So it's like if you want to socialize with your friends and talk, you could do that. If you just want to listen to the music and dance, you can do that too.
Yeah, I definitely need to be at the next one. Hi,
Yes. Yeah, we got one coming up on Sunday.
we got Shahida in the house. We can hear you, girl.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So yes, tell us about this upcoming event you have on Sunday.
Yeah, so I have this new concept called R&B somewhere in PVD. So it's pop-ups of R&B in in different locations. So our first one is going to be at the Public Shopping Gallery, which is in Olneyville,
Mm.
Providence, Rhode Island. And it's similar vibes to our other R&B nights, which is called The Affair, but this is going to be R&B in the daytime. So it's like I'm a big fan of day parties. And if it's a beautiful Sunday, I don't mind listening to some music, having some drinks, eating, and then ending my night early, so I can get ready for the week. Um, so,
Okay,
so
I just gotta pop in because
yeah,
I was missing and I listened to everything that you guys were saying. And like with Tracy, this is like the dopest thing I've ever heard. One of the dopest things I ever heard.
thank you.
Rhode Island and Providence have the most creative people. That is insane. I love the whole concept and I didn't know anything about it until, Tracy told me that she had been following you. So I, jumped on and kind of
Like
looked.
a little light stalking, just a little.
Yeah,
And so
she's
that's what my profile is for.
the best kind of stock.
Yes, yes.
Dude, I'm like so impressed. And so and I'm with you too because I got to a certain age. I wish day parties were the thing when in the 80s and 90s
Hmm.
because I mean, what? They had Yellow Cup yesterday.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
so that is like the most awesome idea, but what you've done and how you started and the innovation behind it, are we invited to one of these in
Okay.
living room cook-up things? Because I
You are
don't.
invited to every single one.
Hey,
All
take
right,
that,
go
yellow
ahead,
cup.
continue.
Take that.
I just had to like, just tell you
Of
how
course.
how impressed I am by that. Just
Of
congrats.
course. Yeah, at one of my last R&B events, like it's beautiful seeing people that I've never seen before at my events. So like when I see new faces, it's like, oh yeah, it's like the word is getting spread. And then, but there's this one lady there that I use in I captured in some content and I use it for one of my promos. And then I'm watching the news the other day and I was like, this news reporter is this lady who was at my event the other day. I was like, that's so cool. I was like, we had a
Yeah,
news reporter at one of my events just chilling with her husband.
I love that. What you got
Mhm.
there? Is that
Sipping on now, sir.
Yeah.
espresso martini?
Yeah, let me tell you about this drink that I have here. So I'm actually at Cafe Ava in their meeting room, their new location in downtown. This is the Carajillo, so it's an espresso martini, espresso martini. Um, It has a little bitterness. It's sweet, but it wakes you up though. So thank you to
Okay,
Cafe Ava.
noted. So Cafe Ava has a meeting room. Is that like a little private area that you can
Yeah.
work out at?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So it's right. It's connected to the rest of the cafe, and they just opened up a new bar. So they have another room with a full bar, with not a full bar, but a big bar, and have more seating where you can grab your food, you can grab a drink, and sit there, do some work, enjoy an espresso martini, or come on a little date and have a little sip of coffee or whatever you want, and just and relax. But yeah, it's a nice
Where's
addition to
Cafe?
downtown.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah,
Where's
so they have two locations. The one that I'm at now is on Hospital Street. Downtown. So it's across the street from the Children's Museum. And if you've ever been to District, it's right around the corner from District.
okay? Okay,
Yes, yes.
that's not where the tiny bar used to be.
It's nearby the tiny bar, but it's a block over. Yeah.
Okay, a block over.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Yeah, I know that area. Definitely. I
Mhm.
definitely want to check it out because it's cool to be able to get out. We talked a little bit about the pandemic and how it made us feel so claustrophobic at times because
Hmm.
we couldn't be around people. And then when you were around people, you were afraid to be around people. So it kind of made working outside of the home, especially if you get to work remote, it made it a little bit
Yeah.
more, something that people wanted to do, like take your laptop. Because the thing used to be like, if you wanted to work, outside of your home remote, you went to Starbucks, right? Or you went to like the
Yes.
library or something like that. I'd much rather be at Cafe Ava having what was the name of the cocktail?
Okay. Carajillo.
A carajillo.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
with the little swirling around and having a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
drink. That's something I would like to do. So I'm like, ooh, I'm already planning out my
Absolutely.
work from home, what
Yeah,
I'm gonna be doing. So that's cool. But
yeah.
Can I ask
yeah,
my personal question?
Yes, ma'am.
Where'd you get the nickname Fatty? I feel like everybody knows a fatty. I know like 3 or 4 growing up.
Yeah. Oh, nah, that's bad. Um, so I was a Nickelodeon kid growing up.
Okay.
So they had this. So when Instagram first came out, I was trying to think of like a little clever name that's connected to the '90s. And there used to be this cartoon called Doug,
Love Doug.
yes,
and his crush, her name was Patty Mayonnaise.
Yep,
So
remember?
so my first Instagram name was Fatty Mayonnaise. That's where I got it from. Uh,
got it.
but ever since then, when I see people in public, everybody just refers to me as Fatty. Since then, and it's been like over 10 years since I had that name. So
That
yeah,
is, and you speak
and
of Nickelodeon because that was such an impression moment for guys your age because my kids were addicted to it. But I
yeah,
love those too. Doug, Hey Arnold, all of them.
yes,
Yes. Hey,
yeah,
football night. No,
Patty,
yeah.
those are great shows.
Mhm.
Was it Daria? Was Daria on Nickelodeon?
Daria was on MTV.
Okay, my bad. But
Mhm.
same
Same.
era.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Now in my head, I'm like, well, there should be a Nickelodeon theme food, booze, and friends party. But
Might have to do that.
I like that.
Yeah,
That'd be cute. Maybe people
yeah.
can come dressed as a character,
Oh
or they
yeah.
can write some
That is so
cocktails.
Yeah,
cool.
I might have to give you a percentage.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
just
Or,
feed me,
or
like
yeah, or drinks
literally.
on me. Drinks on me.
I like that. I like that. That can be
Yeah.
cute. But I like that. I like the idea of pairing music with food because
Hmm.
like, really like happiness comes from like having your senses satisfied, right?
Yeah.
So it's like hearing something that makes you feel good and makes all your vibrations feel good, and then tasting delicious things and then having engagement with cool and interesting people. Like that's the holy grail. And especially if you can get in bed by 10:30,
Hmm.
11 o'clock and you've done all of that, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even find any flaws in that plan. I like it a lot. So
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
and speaking of the food, I would love to like plug in D Spot. I would like to shout them out. When I first started doing my events, um, we weren't charging for the foods. We were grilling foods, and food came with your ticket. And at almost all my events, he always donated at least 100 chicken wings. So he would bring platters of different flavor wings to my event for free. So he sponsored that. So I'm just happy that people got to experience D Spot wings. They're still running today. They're in Pawtucket and then Providence. So
Yeah.
I really want to thank him for like he really shows up for the community. They provide community spaces. You want to do open mic and just chill out there at the restaurant. They got spaces for you to perform, show off your music. So I just want to shout them out for providing free food for the community. Really,
Oh, that's
That's
great. They do have
awesome.
yeah,
some good chicken. Because I
Yes.
started going to the one in Providence because the
yeah,
one in Pawtucket, I like it, but it's not a sit down place. You go
Yeah.
order, you get it. But the other
Yep.
it's always packed, and there's usually some
Hmm.
great conversations going on in there, and the women are usually, quite nice. And I started going there like maybe the last year. Love it.
I gotta get back over there now that you mentioned that.
So
With the
something.
conversation, because there's always some kind of debate going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go. I love a good people watching spot. So these
Mhm.
these these spots sounds
Hmm.
like it's a good people watching.
Oh, for sure. And it's very like it's pretty small in there, so you can hear
Oh
everything.
yeah.
So yeah, you can just
Just
listen.
don't pay attention. We're
Listen.
not listening. We're
Yeah,
not
we're not
listening.
listening. No.
But one thing you two have in common, Shahida and Fatty, is that y'all love the beach. Y'all like to be on a
Yeah.
beach. And Fatty's done some reviews of beaches lately. So give us your take on like these Rhode Island beaches because we don't have much summer. So we
Mhm.
gotta strike while the iron is hot. Talk to us about these beaches so people can come from other places and enjoy them.
We got so many beaches that so many Rhode Islands haven't been to. And I really started my beach review because I'm not gonna lie, I took a trip to Florida and I spent a lot of time in the sun and I spent a lot of time at the pool. Um, and when I came back from Florida, I was like, I need more of this. I need my skin to get darker. I need to be in the sun. And so I was like, I got it. We have so many oceans around us. We have so many beaches and water around us. Like I haven't been to the beach in years. And the last time I went, I probably just like dipped my feet in the water, but I can't remember the last time I dipped my whole body in the water. And we have like really beautiful water out here that you wouldn't think
Mhm.
um, because like we're just stuck in the city sometimes. But yeah, I bumped into a lot of beautiful beaches. So the first thing that I did when I got back was like I bought my season pass. So I think we have seven state beaches in Rhode Island.
Mhm.
But they all charge for parking and those parking prices are insane. The last beach that I went to that I had to pay for parking was Blue Shutters, which is in Charlestown, and that parking was $35.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just to park, and there's no street parking. You can't park anywhere else except that lot.
They get in that
Yeah,
$35. Okay,
yeah,
Per
regardless.
yeah.
car,
Yeah.
yes.
So we're getting at $35. But when you think of Rhode Island, a lot of people don't think that we have like clear water or like nice white sand, and clean water, but we really do. So I've gone to a few beaches. A beautiful one, which is small, is also a state beach too. Is the Charlestown Beachway.
Mhm.
Um, the waves are a little rocky, um, but the sand is really nice. The water's clear, and if you want to just lay on the sand and tan, and hear the ocean water, it's like that's a nice spot for you to go to. It's not loud. There's not a lot of music. It's like there's a lot of space. You know what I'm saying? But if you
Mhm.
want, I mean, if you want a loud beach with a lot of music and people playing sports on the beach, you can go to like Misquamicut or Scarborough and stuff like that, where it's like you see a lot of the community coming down from the city to these beaches. Like those are the popular beaches to go to. You know what I'm saying? But we got all kinds of beaches. If there's a beach you want to lay down and relax and have a picnic, there's a beach for you. If you want to go and get drunk on the beach, you can do that. If you want to have a bonfire, there are beaches that allow you to have fires and grill on the beach too. So we have so many.
What's your
So what is
favorite beach though?
I would say the Charlestown Beachway is my favorite. It's
Okay.
like it's really small. The sand is deep. I like being in the waves, but the water's so nice and clear. So it's like just laying there and looking at the water and seeing
Mhm.
the beauty, and being in peace there. I would say that's my favorite one. But I have been getting a lot of hate for posting that beach last
Why?
few
oh
years. Yeah,
spill
Oh,
the
because now
tea.
it's crowded.
yeah, because now it's gonna be too crowded.
They didn't
It's
want
like the
they didn't
secret
want the
beach.
word out there was a hidden
Nah, they don't
secret.
want.
So
Yeah,
talk to me about the season pass because now I need to know more. What does that
Oh
offer
yeah,
you? What does
I
it
used
yeah.
to
involve?
get them all the time. I haven't gotten
Yeah,
any
yeah.
serious.
So
Yeah.
I think I paid $30 for my season pass.
Mhm.
And it just allows you to park at all the seven state beaches for free. And when
Oh.
when parking is usually like $20 or $30, like imagine paying $30 to go to the beach every week when you could just pay it one time and just go to any of these seven state beaches. It doesn't guarantee entry into the beach because I guess Rhode Island beaches in the summertime fill up really fast.
They do.
And you gotta get there before the beach opens. Um,
Can you okay. I remember when I first moved here, and I
mhm.
think Tracy told you that both of us are from Boston. When I first moved here, I went to Lincoln Woods.
Oh my God.
Okay. And I was like, never gonna do that again. Never gonna
Mhm.
do that again. It reminded me of our Houghton's Pond,
I
Tracy.
was about to say it sounds like Houghton's Pond. I don't even know what you're talking about,
Oh,
but
Lincoln
it's
Woods.
given Houghton's Pond.
Thinking
Yes.
Lincoln.
Okay,
Oh,
and I feel like it definitely deserved that reputation.
Yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
I want to ask your opinion now because I went 2 weekends ago and I was completely shocked that the trails were Lincoln Park looked beautiful to me, and their little acreage of beach because it's very small
Hmm.
was completely different from how it was when I went 20 years ago. They had
Yeah,
a nice food stand. It was totally renovated. They had outdoor showers, completely renovated. Now, the girl who did my braids, Tracy, I was telling her that I went to Lincoln Woods, and oh my god, oh my
uh,
disgusting. She just went in. So and I say that to say that sometimes you have to give other spots a second chance
hmm
because it has definite they put money into this and into that area. Just the biking trails alone, I mean, just for walking and doing some hikes, completely different than what it
yeah,
was 20 years ago.
absolutely.
So my question was, have you been there recently and has it changed in your opinion, or have you still going back from like years ago?
That is so funny that you asked that. My first beach review was at Lincoln Woods,
Okay,
but it was a satire post.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so I started the video with this beach might have the best water in Rhode Island.
ah.
Okay. I can
Yeah,
see the satire.
yep, yep. And I got a lot of hate mail for that.
Uh-huh.
And people,
I feel like they did a good job cleaning it up.
so I think Lincoln Woods Park is a beautiful park.
It is. It
The
really is.
spaces for you to have picnics, the
Mhm.
trails, horseback riding if that's still a thing over there.
Yes, it is.
Being able to canoe. I just want to
Kayaking, all the
yes,
water sports, yeah.
I just want to recommend swimming in that water because it is a man-made pond or lake, whatever you
Mhm,
want to call it,
mhm.
and
Oh, I
I
didn't
can't
realize it was a man-made pond.
I can't even call it fresh water, but I'm just gonna call it still water.
Mhm, it's still
Yeah,
water.
because
Mhm.
when you're in the ocean, that salt water, it clears out. It moves somewhere else. But I can promise you, the water that people were swimming in today, it's the same water that I was swimming in 30 years ago.
You said it's a gumbo now.
Yes.
I was stunned that because I agree with you. I like either a ocean or a lake. I
Hmm.
really do. And the only reason I went is because at that particular time, every other beach was closed because of blue green algae or something. And
Yeah.
so all the beaches were like kind of like shut down. And that was the only one that was open. So I said, well, let me just go and look. Well, my granddaughter is you can't say that we're going to the beach and then not show up at a beach. I had to pivot. I had to find a way, to get her in the water that day.
I'm gonna
And
ask you for a favor. Don't ever take your granddaughter there again, please, for swimming. Don't ever let her swim in that water again.
That's
so
not on the
she
season pass.
did. She did. And we were there like 2.5 hours, two and a
Yeah.
half, 3 hours or whatever. But I was yeah, so we did do the
Yeah.
swimming, but
Okay.
I still was impressed on how it
Hmm.
has like completely more from when I took my kids that one time 20
Yeah.
years ago and said I was never gonna come back. But
Yeah. That was our family's favorite beach. And I used
oh
Okay.
to
really?
yeah, I
I
used
think
to
because it was in the city, right? Close to get
yeah.
to.
And I used to live next door to my cousins, and oh my God, we used to pack up like maybe like 4 or 5 cars and go with like a family of like 30 people, and all the kids were in the water. Even the parents were in the water with us. And like, I just have memories of my dad just like throwing us in the air. We're flipping in the water. But when you're kids, like, we weren't even thinking about the water. You know what I'm saying? It was just nice to be there with family, just chilling in the water, throwing sand at each other, like having chicken fights in the water. So it's like when I went there the first time, maybe like I think it was like 2 months ago, people were having fun. They were having a
Mhm.
great time. Them kids were having a great time. They were so clueless about what they were swimming in.
My granddaughter was one.
So you know it's a trick,
I did not
right? That's a trick that parents play on you is we're gonna take these kids to the beach, we're gonna run them ragged, we're gonna let them get wet, and they're gonna sleep like
Mm-hmm.
angels tonight.
You know what
Yeah.
That was
really
the
turned me
trick.
off from Lincoln?
That was the
It's
caravan. That
the
your parents were
ducks.
all conspiring against you. They were like, "Listen, we're
No,
gonna get these kids in the
Yeah, that's
car."
right. Yeah.
but what
But
really
that's
got
dope.
me was how many ducks they had in the water.
Oh, it's a lot.
It was
Yeah.
like, did they fly from every point in Rhode
Hmm.
Island to just come to this water? That was why I was just like, I gotta go because it was just
Yeah.
too many damn ducks.
A
And
lot
it's
of ducks and a lot of
like,
geese. You're not gonna find that another. You're not gonna find that at a saltwater beach.
oh no, no, never.
Yeah.
No, you gotta f the seagulls for that because I did get attacked
Yeah.
by the friggin' sea I always go to, Roger Williams, that's my favorite beach.
Hmm.
And that
Roger Wheeler or Roger Williams?
Roger Wheeler, I'm sorry.
Okay, I gotta
And
go there.
so I always that's my favorite beach. I've been taking my kids there for like 20
Hmm.
something years, and so that's my go-to, and Charlestown is my second. But when I go the last time I went, it's the damn seagulls are so aggressive now. They don't even play. They're just
Nope.
like friggin' thugs. And the way they just swoop down on you and like will literally take anything that's on a blanket if you walk away.
On a
That's the
blanket or out of your hands. Yeah.
on
So
a blanket.
Dang.
Yes.
I went to Musqueamick and I had this bag right here, and I knew I had to finish my food before I walked away from my blanket, but I had this bag and I tied it up like this. I was like nice and tight. I came back to my blanket. The food trash that was in here was like on my blanket. My underwear was on the blanket. I was like, what is? They untied
Wow.
my bag and pulled everything out.
And you
They're
can't
smart
convince me
now.
that it wasn't them. If somebody
They're
be like, it
smart,
might have been the kids. No, it was them.
and it
The
was so
sea.
funny. There were some
Yeah.
ladies, there was some ladies sitting next to my blanket, and when I came back, everything was scattered. So I started cleaning up, and then later on that day, or like the next day, somebody messaged me on TikTok, and they were like, "Were you at Musqueamick the other day?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." She was like, "Oh, we're at the blanket next to you." I was like, "Oh, did you see the seagulls like pulling all stuff in my back?" They said they were cracking up laughing, watching the seagulls tear up my stuff. I was like, "You got to
Dang, they didn't even
profession,
try to
aren't you?"
help you.
No,
They
And they
no.
did.
gonna slide in your DMs like, "Were you?
Mm,
Well, you know that was me."
yeah, for real. Yeah, they knew it was me.
And the
Come on
beach that
now.
is other that's very popular, Scarsboro, that you mentioned,
Hmm.
still have not been to that beach.
Oh wow, yeah.
Every
That's
time I try to go, and I've stopped since trying to go, can't get into the parking is already full, and the
oh,
beach
wow.
is just packed. So I always ended up at Roger Wheeler.
Yeah. That's the thing about Rhode Island beaches. They get packed really, really fast.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
But I could always get into Roger Wheeler.
Hmm.
Scarborough is just like, no, if you're not there at 7 o'clock, then you're just out.
You gotta pay for Scarborough. That's a Rhode Island State beach too, right?
Yeah, you have to pay to get
Scarborough.
in as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people go there because
The
I guess
bus takes
it's a
you
big
right there.
yeah, yep. So when people talk about the beach from Providence, like Scarborough is the number one beach that we're talking about. And
Mhm.
so that's like the go-to move right there. And it's not too far either, but I'm willing to drive an hour for like a little bit of quieter and more secluded. So
So
it's
what
worth it.
you rate Scarsboro? What was
I haven't been to Scarborough in a few years.
okay.
But I rate it like an 8 out of 10, maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna try
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Well, eventually I'll get there.
yeah. It's a nice spot for vibes
Yeah,
with your
and
friends
then
for
the
sure.
Roger Wheeler is like 10 minutes away. It's not even a good 10 minutes away.
Hmm.
It's like, the next block over, but it's never as packed. But
Yeah.
it is packed. It is packed. So
Can you guys see and hear me?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, something happened. That's okay. I can't see myself, but as long as you guys can see me, sorry, Shahida, you're gonna have to splice this.
Oh,
But
really? Okay.
yeah, somebody called me, but all good.
Oh, okay,
Um,
gotcha.
Yeah, so I've not been a beach girl in the past. Like I wouldn't label myself a beach person, but I'm motivated now based on your reviews and Shahida's insistence that the beach is that's that place to be. I'm gonna try to do more beaches. I was just at Horseneck Beach in Westport, Mass.
Nice.
And I like that beach actually, and I think I would return there as well.
So was that your first time at Horseneck?
It was my first time there, and it was the Skip Work Beach Day,
Great.
which I thought was very awesome. And they only do it once a year, so I'm glad that I caught it this year. And it was so much fun. There were like hundreds of people who collaborated to skip work and be on the beach and have a good time together. We all took a group picture. It was a blast. So I think I might be a convert. I think I might become a beach girl
Yes,
Horseback
you
was like
should.
my big family beach where like my whole family would drive up
Mhm.
from Boston and go to that one. So I would like to see how it is because the last time I've been there was probably maybe 20 years ago as well. I would like to see how it has changed because it was one of my favorite beaches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
no, it
family
was
went there a few
nice.
times too. But
Mhm.
I have no recollection of what it even looked like. I cannot
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. I
We're gonna
know
have
it
to we
has to
have
have
to
an
go.
upgrade.
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
have to
to
make that
plan it
trip.
out.
Let's
We're
go.
gonna have to make a little day trip out there.
And then the fact that it was just like, just all black that day, I would have loved to have been there.
It was well, the skip work thing was all black. So yes, it
Mhm.
was definitely a sight to see and an experience to have.
Mhm.
Everyone was invited.
Yeah.
But it was a really good time. And it wasn't and parking was $14 and it wasn't like a hassle because I had my beach chair, I had my other stuff, and like trying to get from my parking spot to the
Yeah.
actual beach was not it wasn't bad. It was like actually
Mhm.
pretty decent. Go up into like a little ramp area and then you go back down. So there's a separation. You're not like staring at the parking lot from the beach. I also like that there's like
Yeah.
there's a line of separation between seeing your car and the beach. So you get
Hmm.
to like really enjoy that beach experience because it kind of goes down a little bit. It
Yep.
slopes and then that's the
Mhm.
beach. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So pivoting from the topic of the beach, I want to talk about the things that you've done in the community because you're not just bringing fun and vibes, you're also bringing safety. So
Yeah.
your work in nonviolence, your work in community activism, speak to us about that and, encourage people about what they can also do in that space to kind of follow in your footsteps.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, I started this work doing AmeriCorps back in 2013 at City Year. And if you're from Rhode Island, um, you saw young people walking around in red jackets and Tim's on. And we were always wondering like who those people were and what they were doing. Um, so I became an AmeriCorps member doing City Year in 2013, working in middle schools, and we were providing intervention to students like in math and English. And the proficiency in Rhode Island in school is really low in a lot of the schools. So I joined in doing that. I was doing intervention for math and for seventh graders. Um, and then the next year, I became a team leader, leading a team of core members in an elementary school called Pleasant View, who were doing the same thing that I was doing the year before. And that's where I got my foot in doing community work. Since then, I worked with the Providence After School Alliance, putting on free after school programming for Providence public school students. Did some work with College Crusade, did some affordable housing work in Woonsocket, and then right now I'm at the Nonviolence Institute in the South Side of Providence. Um, we do a lot of victim advocacy. We do violence mediation. So we work with a lot of at-risk youth um, in Providence. So mediating some gang violence. We have a team of outreach workers, formerly known as street workers. Those are people with like lived experiences. So people who have been incarcerated before, people who have been involved with violence, who are like turning their lives around, who have connections in the community, and they go out and they talk to kids. They go to the rec during basketball games, at school let outs, just connecting with youth. So they build relationships in the community, and that allows us to mediate conflicts that are happening within Providence, Woonsocket, Pawtucket, Central Falls, um, the urban core. We also provide nonviolence training. So 25 years ago, Nonviolence Institute was founded um, to train youth and the community in Dr. King's nonviolence principles and practices. So that's what we're really founded on. So providing community trainings on how to manage and deal with conflict and like be at peace with yourself, so you can handle tough situations. So we do that. We do a lot of victim advocacy. So we're one of the first responders when people are victims of community violence. So as a victim, you could be somebody who was shot or stabbed or beat up, assaulted, or it could be a family member of somebody who dealt with that, or a family member of somebody who was killed. So they're considered victims too. Um, So we support them through that. So we'll work with victims on getting compensation. If they're at risk of more violence, sometimes we help with relocation and hospital stays to put them in a safer space. If somebody was killed, we'll help family plan funerals and help families get victim compensation to to pay for the funerals and other costs and stuff like that. So there's a lot that we do when it comes to like training community in nonviolence, training kids in nonviolence, supporting people who have been hurt or killed, um, and just like being in the community to support. Yeah. So it's
That's a
quite a bit.
that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
quick
Yes.
quick question. And sometimes I think a lot of people are so disconnected from, violence in our community, because to hear me say it, or my lived experiences, I don't know much about, violence or gang violence. I've
Mhm.
never been, privy to that going on. When you're working with families or the community, where do you see that it starts? Like, okay, this kid is at risk. Like, can you give like pointers that we can kind of like see and acknowledge, and maybe as a community step in to help? Where does it usually start and why? I know that's big, but
Yeah. I would say a lot of it is generational.
oh
Providence is like very divided. So you have your neighborhoods, say like Manton, Shannon Brown, Hartford. It's like we have like different projects in different parts of the city in a very small city, you know what I'm saying? So when people identify with the neighborhoods that they live in. And I think that's a big part of their identity that they connect to. So I think it's generational to say like these projects and different communities have beef with each other just because that's where they're
Mhm.
from, you know what I'm saying? Um, and unfortunately, that's the way it is. So like they're picking up beef that their uncles or their parents might have had back from 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Um, so like that's a big part of it, and I think social media is a huge part of it too. Um, just being able to see where your ops are, and the way people disrespect each other on social media it's so much easier to do. You know what I'm saying? You can post a video, um, talking crap about somebody, or sometimes people will go to their enemies, like grave sites or like candle vigils and post a picture of them like disrespecting, like tipping over the candles or saying F this person, you know what I'm saying? And they'll post it on social media. So that creates like this chain of reaction where like, oh, you was disrespecting my person from this community, and it's like just a continuous cycle of like retaliation against each other. And I think there's just too much access to social media for the kids, and parents are letting their kids be outside to 3 o'clock in the 5 o'clock in the morning. Right, that's what we're seeing a lot, and a
Yeah,
lot
I've
of these.
been shocked by some of the killings that I've seen, or,
Mhm.
violence, and it's after, like, midnight, and it's like,
Yes.
kid is 14 years old. What is
And
he
it'll be
doing
like a
out
school
after
night.
midnight?
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll
Yeah.
yeah.
So when it gets, so we say in Providence, like when the weather starts heating up, you know, things get hot. So most of the stuff happens like in the spring and the summertime, like really in the summertime. It's always active out here. And now they're doing like these tateos, like these pop ups, and
Yeah.
in different locations. And just a couple weeks ago, 5 people got shot at one of these things because like where your enemy is going to be at, or where somebody's going to be at. So there's just so much access to seeing people's locations. If you got beef with somebody, you know where to find them very easily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
So
the irony is that these territories, right? Because this happened in Boston too when we were growing up. This is not new. It's just evolving and expressing itself in different ways. All of these beefs, like, oh, I'm from Chad Brown. Chad Brown had nothing to do with you and probably didn't even like your kind. You know what I'm saying? So,
mhm.
but you're so territorial over. I'm from the Ruggles Street
Yeah.
crew. I'm from Academy Homes in Boston.
Mhm.
I'm from the South Side, what have you. And you're fighting over these streets and territories named after your colonizer. Number
Mhm.
one, and number two, it's like as parents, social media, the other way social media is impacting is that, kids are getting phones, they're getting internet so early that the phones are raising the kids. You know what I mean? But they're in the stroller, can't even walk, and they've got the phone in their hand, and it's like that's the babysitter. We have to have our kids in on a school night at an appropriate hour,
Hmm.
or even if it's the
Absolutely.
weekend. If you're 13, 14, you don't need to be outside the house after a certain time. It's,
Yeah.
paying attention, parenting. And like you said, if it's generational, if that's something that, you were modeled and that's what and that's how you stay safe is by participating in this activity, it's a hard cycle to break. So I'm glad that you're in the community
Yeah. Thank
helping this and maybe breaking some of these generational
you. Hmm.
chains that these poor kids, some of it's their fault, some of it is our fault as the generation that raised them
Yeah.
too. So
So I
Yeah.
went to a community police event after those killings or shootings in on Harris Ave.
Hmm.
And I listened to what they were saying, what they were proposing, especially for because it's just basically businesses in that area, in protecting your business. And one of the business owners was saying that he wanted the police to crack down, but he also wanted the police to show some kind of compassion and solution for some of these kids having some place to go for like these pop-ups.
Yeah.
And I get the idea of a pop-up, almost similar to like, when I was younger, we'd have like, block parties or whatever that
Mhm.
did not turn violent. And that made, very logical sense because then people start breaking it down into a race thing and they just want to just come down, throw the
Yeah.
hand down on these kids. So what is your suggestion working on that side that the police could do to help with these kind of like, pop-ups and these violent situations?
Yeah, I think like for these pop-ups, I think, community policing, if they know an event is happening and there might be hundreds of people there and you might not be able to break it up.
Yeah.
You can have like police walking like and being there as like just sitting in your car, like where the entrance is or whatever, just so people can have like a sense of safety without you trying to like ruin the fun. But like also for the adults who are attending these events to have a responsibility and say, "Oh, I'm 30 years old and there's like 15-year-olds here." uh, like be mentors or be chaperones or something. Like if these kids are acting up and you see them drinking, they shouldn't be drinking at 15 or under 21 years old, or if they're acting up, like you got to say something to these people. You know what I'm saying? If I'm walking in the public and I see a group of teens acting up, sometimes we gotta check we gotta check the kids. You know what I'm
for
saying?
real,
And yeah,
yeah.
and if you want to have a space where you can continue to do it and have fun and be safe, it's like we got to do that. We got to have some type of standard for the things that we're doing, and I can imagine it's probably grown folks who are like starting these pop ups, even though like the message is getting spread through social media. But there's it's filled with adults. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got to be responsible as an adult to take care of your community and take care of the kids in the community and make sure that they're acting right. So,
What I was
um,
surprised about the police officer that was there was two of them. They were saying at the time of night that they are having like these pop-ups, there might be only 2 or 3 police cars in that area because someone mentioned exactly what you said. Make your presence known and almost like how the fan zone was. There were police officers there and
mhm,
they were interacting with people and developing, some kind of camaraderie. And if they did that in those situations, from your point of view, I think would really, really kind of help deter some of the violence. But if you're only
mhm,
showing up after everything has popped off, but
mhm,
only having two
exactly.
in the summertime, you would think that you would have more on parole. And I think they were saying for that particular area. But if you hear the chatter. You should be. I mean, the police force should be on social medias. They should have
Absolutely.
an idea of when these things are going to pop off. But yeah, great work that you're doing. I think we all
Yeah.
appreciate that because that's right in the middle of everything.
And being
Yes.
preventative is great, right?
Mhm.
So a thing that I do sometimes if I see kids misbehaving and I don't know them, but I know they're like maybe out when schools happening and they're not in school, or I see some kids maybe smoking or something like that and they shouldn't be smoking, I'll roll down my window because I'm usually driving and I'll be like, I know your parents. And then I'll just roll my window back up.
Yep.
Because I'm hoping that they just spend the whole rest of the day thinking that I'm going to tell their parents on
Mhm.
them.
I smoke with my mama. Shut up.
Yeah, yeah, you'd be
Listen,
surprised. Yeah, a lot
and
of
that
kids
might be
do.
the thing. That used to work back in the
Yeah.
day, but I think a lot, all jokes aside, a lot of these youth, they do need someone to look up to. And
Mhm.
usually if they don't find the positive role model, they find the negative. And that's what embraces them as family, and they end up going down a wrong path. So I'm glad to hear that there are also people who have lived experience who can bring that experience to the table and remind these kids that this is not it.
Yeah.
Like, it feels good maybe in a moment, or maybe you're getting money, or maybe you feel like you found a space where you can feel protected, but in the long run, it doesn't pay. You're either going to end up in jail or in prison, or well, jail, prison, or dead, or suffering the
Mhm.
consequences of this lifestyle. Either way, maybe on drugs. So those are the things that are important. I'm glad you're able to do this kind of work, and that you are so invested in our community.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So we're at the time now where we start to ask our three questions of our guests. We usually ask a few questions before we wrap, just to kind of, let our listeners know a little bit more about you. I want to remix it like you did last week though, Shahid. I think I want to change the
You
first
do
question. So,
it.
okay. So, my question to you is, you're an R&B aficionado. So give us like a playlist, like your top 3 R&B songs.
Ooh,
Oh.
man, put me on the spot.
Could be any genre.
Okay.
If you yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, R&B for sure. Um, I
For
love Usher.
artists.
I would say one of my favorite Usher songs that it hits every time, "Superstar" by Usher.
Okay.
You know, um, Jodeci, "Cry for
Uh-huh.
You."
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Um, and let me say another one. Hmm. I would say John B and Tupac. "You Still
Ooh.
Down." That's a sexy one.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, adding to the
Yeah.
playlist.
And I don't know if you know, but John B he's from Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
We
Did
do know
not
that.
know. I knew
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Really? I
Yeah.
was just listening to him the other day. He always is in the playlist, but I did
Yes.
not know that.
John B, Blue Cantrell,
Did
Jeffrey
not know.
Osborne. I'm trying
Mhm.
to think of what other
I knew
singers.
Jeffrey.
Tavares.
I knew Tavares.
Are they
Who's
from
that?
Rhode Island, or
Yeah,
are they
who's
from Mass?
I
They're
think they're
listen.
from New Bedford or Fall River, one of
okay.
those.
Okay,
Same
okay.
same difference. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's another? Our other question we like to ask is, give us 3 things you love about Rhode Island and 1 thing you would change about Rhode Island.
All right, 3 things I love about Rhode Island. The variety and diversity of the food options that we have. Something that I find when I travel is like sometimes it's hard to find good food in different cities and different states. But when I come to Rhode Island, if I'm in the mood for something, I can find anything that I'm in the mood for, and I know it's gonna be good. And it's like a lot of mom and pop shops, a lot of small restaurants. So I love that Rhode Island has like a large variety of different ethnic foods. That's one of my favorite. I think the tight knit community. So just be able to go places and see somebody that you know, or like seeing a kid of somebody that you grew up with, like you'll see somebody's face, you'll be like, that face looks familiar, and be like, oh, I know your parents back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, and I love like Rhode Island's just a beautiful place. So when it comes to like beaches, restaurants, having city neighborhoods, but then also having rural areas where we got cows and horses and stuff like that. So it's like you can see everything in Rhode Island. Um, and just the seafood too. We have amazing seafood out
Mhm.
here, fresh seafood.
Yeah.
So I think that was like I kind of made that like 4, but
No, that
those-
works. I like
yeah,
it.
those are my favorite things about Rhode Island. One of my least favorite things about Rhode Island is the Rhode Island mindset that everything is so far away. If you tell somebody that you live 15 minutes away, oh, they're not gonna go. That
That is crazy.
they're not
Like, I'm
going to
not
that.
going all the way to
No.
Warwick. What?
But
Yep.
it's funny because I feel that everybody says that about the state that they live in, because we would say it
Mhm.
too about, being in Boston. There are just some people who just refuse to go, farther. And I lived in Mississippi, and everything was an hour away.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yep.
like, if it's 15, I'm feeling. Well, I'm gonna lie and say it's 10 because I have no conception of time or space.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so I've done a few road trips like down south, so like driving for long periods of time, like I enjoy it. It's like
I
I
love
find I
it.
find I find peace in driving for a long time, being able to listen to music and just be able to relax. But Rhode
I love
Islanders,
the
no,
road
just
trip.
yeah.
That's
Rhode Islanders
funny.
can't handle anything more than 30 minutes. And that's why you can find a nice, calm, empty beach an hour away from Providence. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, that's a good tip. That's a good
Yeah.
pro tip. You turn that into a positive.
Yeah.
But there's so many cars on the road, so they driving somewhere.
I don't know where they're going.
It's crazy. Just coming back from Johnston, I was just like, "What? It is Sunday. Why are all these cars on the road?" But
And
anyway,
okay, if I can add one more thing I don't like about Rhode Island,
Yeah, of course.
there's always some type of detour somewhere. They're doing some type of road work all the
Oh
time
my
and for
God.
no reason.
So usually we're wrapping around this time, but I have to mention your spotlight on the potholes since you brought it up.
I did see that.
Yeah, our potholes are insane. I just went over the biggest speed bump I've ever been on. That thing had to be like a foot high. And then as I'm coming down the speed bump, there's a pothole in the speed bump. So I went from this to this. I was like, what the hell is going on with this damn street? I was
And
like,
Oh,
that's
why is
why
there
it
Rhode
got a
Island.
flat tire.
why is there a
I had a
pothole
flat.
inside of the speed bump? Yep.
That makes sense. That makes sense why
Yeah.
Shahida had a flat. I had a flat too a couple of weeks ago, so I'm starting to see a pattern
Oh, it
here.
definitely
So
is these potholes.
I actually caught a flat too. So when I went to East Beach, I don't know if you guys saw the review. East Beach has like giant craters from going from the main road to the beach. So like there's this dirt road with craters, and like no matter how you try to swerve, the potholes are in the middle of the street. And I definitely caught a flat leaving that beach.
So this is what we call a Rhode Island massage. When you go over those real bumpy roads,
For real.
I had not
that's a
heard that
Rhode Island
before.
massage.
Did you
I
just
hmm
make that up?
I stole that from South Africa. That's what they told us when we would go over a bumpy road in South Africa. They were like, "This is South African
Yeah.
massage."
Love that.
But their cars can handle it. Our cars can't.
No, our cars cannot,
Yeah.
No.
cannot,
I don't know
because
what
I
they're
was
made out of.
yeah, but
Plastic and hope.
that's what we're gonna call it from now on. So if you hear people saying that, they got it from our podcast. So the last thing is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and how would you use it?
mm, superpower. I think to read minds.
And
Yeah.
how would you use it?
How would I use it? Okay, I'm gonna tell you this now. I kind of already have like a sixth sense. Like I kind of like see dreams and things that are
Oh,
happening in my dreams kind of like happen in real life. So like sometimes you can call me that so Raven.
okay.
Um, but I think I could use like I can read people's minds to see how I can interact with a person. I guess. Um, Sometimes somebody might have RBF, but might want somebody to talk to, and then if I could like kind of like sit at the coffee shop and like and read this person's mind real quick, like I wish I had a friend or something like that. Maybe I can go up to them and be like, "Hey, you wanna have a coffee together?" You know what I'm saying? But I think just
Wow.
to like build community and to like see what people are feeling,
Mhm.
and like help craft or like create an atmosphere to make people feel good about the spaces that they're in, or
That's a nice way to use it.
yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't use it that way. No.
Wait,
How
so
would you?
did you
How would
that so Raven us? Did you see this happening before it happened? And that's why you were just like, it's gonna happen. It's
yeah,
fine.
for sure, for sure.
Okay,
But I love
okay.
that you said that you see sometimes in your dreams. Like, so I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you, Tracy, but I was just talking to my coworkers about this, that, especially when I was younger, from like the time I was like 8 until like my early 30s, I would have like very, like dreams that would come to pass, or at
Mm.
these warnings. And okay, so this is one dream before we go. I know we got to go. This is one dream that I used to have, that rats would be swarming my apartment. And it was continuous for the long time. And then I ended up breaking up with the person that I was dating. Then somebody told me to look that up. And the dream was saying that I was involved in a situation that was beneath me and made me feel filthy. The rats represented the filth. But once I ended that situation, never had the dream again.
Wow.
Hmm.
Never had.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
that.
then there are quite a few other instances where I've like had dreams but not as much lately. And I'm like, do I not deserve this
You
power
gotta tap. You
anymore?
gotta
First of all,
Do
tap
I
back
not deserve the
in.
power that I had? I don't know. So,
It's that's really special to have that, and I don't have that, like those kinds of clairvoyance, but I know people who do, and I do believe in that. Like I strongly believe, and I honestly think that you should, lean into that thing and like accept it and receive it because it may come back to you,
hmm
Shahid, if you start believing in it again. And
oh,
I
I
love that
never
for you.
stopped believing in it. It just kind of
Or like
I
receiving it,
yeah,
being
I'm
open to
not
receive it
getting him
again.
as much as frequently as I did when
Yeah.
I was younger.
You living your best life, then, girl. You didn't need it. You
Yeah,
didn't need the
probably.
warnings.
Mhm.
It could have warned me about quite a few other things, but
Okay.
maybe I
Well,
needed the lesson to learn. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll.
it's interesting to hear a man say that.
hmm
You usually
That's
hear
pretty
women
cool.
say it. So I mean, if you want to share like something very simple or no?
Yeah, so I believe in manifestation, and I feel like that's a big part of my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like hear messages and I see situations play out in my dreams, especially when it comes to like repairing relationships with people that maybe we haven't talked for a while, or I know there's something that I want to talk about with them. And then sometimes I have those conversations like in my dreams with those people, and that inspires me or that tells me to like to contact this person and like have that conversation and talk about it. Because if I'm dreaming about it, it's sitting heavy on my spirit, obviously.
Exactly.
So I think it's very important to listen to our dreams because that's our conscious talking to us.
Mhm.
And they're very vivid. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely helped me have these tough conversations with people that I've like been avoiding and stuff like that, or my dreams remind me to do something that I've been putting off to the side. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Hmm.
like inspiring and like manifesting. So
And figure out things that I've been working on. Like when
hmm
I'm struggling. So this is recent. So I haven't lost it completely. Struggling on a project and just really not having the creative out that I needed. And then all of a sudden it comes to me in a dream. And for the last couple of days, I've been on fire.
that's right.
The juices just
Yeah.
going. And now I'm like, is it because I'm in crunch time or no?
hmm
But no, it slowly came to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pay attention to your dreams.
Absolutely.
Wow, this has been a great conversation. I got
Yes.
so much out of it. Like I got food, I got music, I got some community stuff that I want to check off my list and try to figure out how we can collab offline. So but for now, we want to know where can people find you? You have a couple of social media, so plug your social media, let people know where to follow you, where they can find these great events that you have upcoming.
Yeah, yeah. So, if you guys want some great food or looking for some beach recommendations, and other Rhode Island local recommendations, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Food Booze Show. So, Food Booze BOOZE Show. That's the same on TikTok and Instagram. I also have a YouTube called Food Booze and Friends. So, if you search that, you'll be able to find me. And if you're interested in events for grown and sexy, it's called Food Booze Friends. So, but Friends is spelled FRNDS. So food, booze, friends. If you're looking for a local event in Rhode Island, you can find me there.
He's on Eventbrite too, y'all. I found his
That's right.
Eventbrite. I told you
Yeah.
just a little light
Yeah.
stalking, just a
Yeah.
little bit. And I followed. So I'm following you everywhere. So next thing that I'm in town for, I'm definitely there. So that is awesome. And you all know where to find us. We are on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at Little State Big Voices. We are also available. You can watch all of our episodes, including this one, obviously, on YouTube. We are on Apple Podcasts and wherever podcasts are heard. So until then, we're gonna let our boy Brandon go to enjoy this amazing rest of your day. I'm looking out behind your shoulder,
I
over your
know.
shoulder at the amazing day. And I know you want to get out
Beautiful
there
day.
and enjoy the rest of it. Finish your drink and then, just peruse PVD and do some reviews.
That's
So
right.
thank you
That's right.
again. Thank you
All right.
again for this.
I
It's so
appreciate you
great to
guys.
have
I
you.
appreciate you ladies having me on the podcast.
Great. It was great talking to you. Nice to meet you. And I
Likewise.
will be following Tracy. I'll probably do some stalking too, but I'll
All
say
right. I
it was
appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Y'all have
Cool,
an
cool.
amazing day. Thank you so
all right.
much.
All right.
You
Have a
too.
good
You
one.
too.
All
Have a
right.
good one.